show y'all my purple hill peas that I was able to pick off my pea plants. I'm going to try to do this video without coughing, but that's really hard right now. But I also wanted to talk to y'all about these peas like this. We've been sick, my family's been sick, and for about 3 or 4 weeks, and so I haven't been able to pick my peas. And last week one day I picked my peas and I had a ton of them just like this, and I'll show y'all in a little bit what I was able to get off of that. And a lot of people, I asked people to come over here and pick, and they didn't pick these. They were like, they overlooked all this. Well, I want to show y'all what I got out of beans like this. Now, if you were up to date on your picking, you shouldn't have beans like this. But there's been times that I've missed beans and had beans like this, and they're just like dried beans. There's nothing wrong with this. So when I went out there and looked at my garden, and I just had a whole row of beans like this, at first I was so disappointed. But then I thought, no, I'm gonna pick those beans and see what I get out of it. And I'll show y'all what I ended up getting out of it. Now, some were not any good. You have to be a lot more careful about the beans and go through them a lot more detailed. But also, I thought to myself, you know what? I could have a pity party that, you know, here I've worked all this summer, had a garden that was nice, and, you know, I missed picking fresh peas. Or I could pick these and see what I got out of it. And God's taught me something with that. You know, I feel like if He's going to give us something, if we don't turn our nose up on what He's given us. And I could have been, you know, just like, oh well, my peas are done. But you know what? I picked these peas like this. And because of that, it stimulated my peas to produce again. And I picked this, probably about 1/3 of a 5-gallon bucket, 1/4 of a 5-gallon bucket of peas. And that doesn't seem like much, and it's not much. But it's what God gave me and what God provided. And, you know, if you, everything, so I do that a lot with my garden. I go out there and I think, well, there's not very much out here. And then when I'm done picking and everything, I ended up with like a 5-gallon bucket full of produce. Well, a 5-gallon bucket full of produce is pretty good on my small little garden. So I just wanted to show y'all, if somebody else has those dried peas, don't give up on those dried peas. Plus, that's what you do at the end of the year. You let all those peas, if you're done picking, you let those peas dry on the vine, then you come back and pick them, and those are your seeds for next year. So, just wanted to show y'all my harvest tonight. And just my thoughts on my peas. Thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll be back amongst my garden and the chicken coop and my chickens and all sorts of stuff. Alright, so I'm going to show y'all the peas that I picked originally. I'm going to try to get through this without having a coughing fit. But this was the peas that I picked originally that were dried. And these are just like dried beans. So I'm gonna run these through my dehydrator
just to make sure that I've gotten all the moisture out of them before I put them in a jar or anything so they don't mold. But that's a lot of dried beans. If you had that as fresh peas, that would be, the whole bowl would be probably full, if not more. But you have to be careful, and I've gone through this several times, to pick out any bad peas that were in those dried shells. Now, the ones that I picked the other night and shelled them, these were the ones that I have the picture of that I'm going to show y'all. That were the dried shell peas. And I got quite a fair amount of those. I'm going to add those to that, but just out of that little amount of peas, just out of that little, excuse me, just out of that little amount of peas, I was able to get this many dried peas. And then these were the fresh peas that I shelled. So I probably have a quart bag here of peas. So even just that small amount of the 5-gallon bucket of peas that I picked, I got quite a few peas out of it. Now, I had picked already before I got sick, so I have some canned. This is not enough to can, so I'm probably going to put these in a freezer bag. Dehydrate these and freeze these. So I'm gonna get off here because my voice is really giving me fits when I try to talk. I'm fine any other time, but when I'm trying to talk. So like I said, we are back among the living. We are little by little doing things. Our stamina is not up to par yet, but it's getting better every day. And this is the only lingering thing I have. The other thing I wanted to show y'all is my peas. I always take my shells and I chop them up, probably about 1 inch long, to go in my compost pile. They'll break down faster if you chop them up. So this is goes to my compost pile. I did a video about garden waste, and this is one of the things that I do with my garden waste to go in my compost pile. So thanks for visiting with me. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.